may diniscuss din kasi dito the triumph of understanding over bravado. Na
Bravado.
may tinatawag kasing dalawang states, yung pre-hedgehog and then yung post-hedgehog. Meaning, nung bago nyo ma-figure out yung hedgehog concept nyo, and then after ma-found out nyo yung hedgehog concept nyo. So sabi din dito, yung pre-hedgehog state daw is para kayong naglalakad sa fog. So malabong lahat, wala kayong makita sa horizon, puro siya fog. So yun yung description nung wala pang hedgehog concept yung mga companies.
Nung wala pa.
Then, nung nagkaroon na ng hedgehog concept, nakalabas ka na sa foggy area. Makikita mo na. Parang gano'n.
Ay, kasi nagkaroon na sila ng purpose.
May clarity na sila, may sense of direction na, may papupunta na silang purpose, and at the same time, passionate sila lahat doon. So, sabi rin nga dito na for the comparison companies, the exact same word that had to be so simple and clear to the good to great companies, which is yun nga, malinis, remains complex and shrouded in mist. So, bakit ganun? Dalawang reason daw. First is, yung comparison companies is, hindi sila nagtanong ng tamang tanong. So, they never ask the right questions, which is, yun yung mga tanong na nagpo-prompt ng three circles, which is, yun nga, yung kung ano yung the best ka, ano yung economic denominator mo, or yung economic engine, and kung ano yung passion mo. So, sa company nila, hindi nila tinatanong yung tatlong tanong na yun sa companies nila. Second, they set their goals and strategies more from bravado than from understanding. Yun yung key difference. Pag sinabi mo kasing bravado, example dito is, yung statements daw gaya ng more, sabihin na natin, more than ano daw sila. We've been a growth at any price company. So parang ganun baga. So sabi nila is betting that size equals success. So more on parang bravado nga.
Parang
Pump up lang sila.
Ito yung ginagawa namin. So siguro pag nag-invest kami ng mas malaki dito, mas malaki ang returns.
Yun yung facts na
Yung
kumbaga
facts na
kung saan sila nakakita ng opportunity. Parang tira ng ano.
Parang gano'n ang idea. Kaya nga sinabi na bravado kasi more on outer appeal lang. So kumbaga internally wala talaga silang malinaw na direction kung saan sila papunta. Kaya siya nasabing bravado.
Tuwid na daan ba yan?
Parang gano'n.
Pero malabo.
Sabi nga dito, kahit na napaka-importante ng hedgehog concept, hindi ka pwedeng mag-jump off tapos sabihin mo lang, sige, gawa tayo ng hedgehog concept. Hindi siya gano'n. It doesn't work that way. Sabi nga dito, it took Einstein 10 years of groping through the fog to get the theory of relativity, which is yung E equals mc squared. And he was a bright guy. So siya na yung pinakamatalino.
Very beautiful.
Siya pa yung naka-invento kung siya yung nakagawa ng theory of relativity, which is applicable sa lahat ng bagay. And at the same time, it took him 10 years. So kung iisipin natin na, sige, magawa tayo ng hedgehog concept, ora mismo may hedgehog concept na tayo, hindi, it doesn't work that way. Kasi unang-una, tatlong i-consider natin, which is yung three circles nga. Hanggat hindi natin na-fulfill yung tatlong criteria yun, hindi siya matatawag na hedgehog concept. So at that point in time, lahat tayo, naglalakad pa tayo through fog. So hindi siya ganun kadali na kumbaga one size fits all na instant magkakaroon ka ng hedgehog.
You're in the middle of the list.
Sabi nga dito, it took about 4 years on average for the good to great companies to clarify their hedgehog concepts. Pero para magawa nila yon is, ang ginagawa nila is yung process mismo is, sabi nga dito, the essence of the process is to get the right people engaged in rigorous dialogue and debate infused with the brutal facts and guided by questions formed by three circles. So kumbaga, palaging may debate yung executives or kung ano man yung management team nyo. So ang nangyayari is, kumbaga, either every week or every month. So, basta may consistent na pag-uusap tungkol doon sa three circles and at the same time, confronted by the brutal facts. Hanggat hindi natin yung ginagawa on a consistent basis, hindi natin makahanap ang hedgehog concept natin. So, hindi siya instant, kumbaga. So, pinag-uusapan siya ng maigi para ma-figure out natin siya.
So, isasama na yan sa board meetings.
Another
item.
Sabi ito nga, may example nga dito, which is yung yung tinatawag na council. Na ang trabaho ng council is mag-usap-usap lang talaga regarding the three circles. So based din dito sa book, may ano siya, may parang chart siya na ang first step is ask questions guided by the 3 circles. So una, magtatanong muna kayo based doon sa 3 circles.
Ano ba talaga? Ano ba talaga ang strengths natin?
Something like that. Yes. Ganon. So magtatanong at magtatanong lang tayo, pero ang guide natin is yung 3 principles. Next, once na may questions na tayo, pag-uusapan natin yun yung pagdelibatehan. Pero guided pa rin tayo ng 3 circles. So hindi tayo lalayo doon sa 3 circles. Laging doon lang ang scope of debate and discussions. Next, once na nakapag-dialogue and debate na, syempre, kailangan na mag-decide yung executive board. So, executive decision na, guided pa rin siya by the 3 circles. And then, lastly, kailangan nyo i-autopsy and i-analyze yung napag-decisionan nyo kung aligned ba siya dun sa 3 circles. So, dun lang siya iikot pa ulit-ulit na. Sabi nga dito, kumbaga, how should we go about getting our hedgehog concept?
Ayan. Okay, sige. Meron pala.
Meron.
Sorry, no?
Sabi nga dito, how do we accelerate the process of getting a hedgehog concept? Sabi din dito sa libro is, increase the number of times you go around the process. So meaning, magdebate kayo ng magdebate as many times as you can. Mas madali nyo daw ma-formulate yung hedgehog concept nyo. Yung concept is, ang ginagawa nila is, magtanong lang ng questions. So bali, may sinusundan silang process, which is, first is yung magtanong, guided by the 3 principles. Next is mag-dialogue and debate. Mag-dialogue and debate guided by the 3 circles again. Next is executive decision based on the 3 principles again. And lastly, i-autopsy and i-audit yung decision na napag-decidean based on the 3 principles again. So doon lang iikot ang gawain ng council. So ang job nila is to make sure na yung company itself is guided by the 3 principles at all times. So regardless kung anong mangyari, bago mag-decision making, guided sila ng 3 principles at all times. So yun yung trabaho ng council. So ngayon, mag-move tayo sa characteristics ng council. So ano nga ba talaga ang characteristics ng council?
Okay, so characteristics of a council. So the council exists as a device to gain understanding about the important issues facing the organization. So mostly, ginawa yung council hindi as a certain group doon sa organization para magpa-epa lang or maging parang... Actually, ginawa sila para mag-provide ng insights sa company. So, normally, ang iniisip ng organizations or would-be businesses or yung mga gusto maging great na businesses is kadalasan, okay, sige, gagawa tayo ng council right now. Tapos, ang trabaho nun is aalamin kung ano yung magiging hedgehog concept ng business. And once na mahanap niya yun, then buwag na. So, yun yung kadalasan na yung sinasabi dito na ang council hindi siya ad hoc. Isa siyang standing committee.
Yes.
Pero, hindi sila pinapangalanan as council committee mismo. Kadalasan, may tinatawag sila as long-range profit improvement committee, corporate product committee, strategic thinking group, or executive council. So normally, hindi sila yung group of individuals na binubuo para lang sa isang project. Doon, business continuity na no business. Kasi continuous dapat ang growth. Kasi in the first place, in order for a good business to be great, kailangan continuous and rigorous yung discipline, yung growth ng business. So other things na na-mention dito as a committee is the council is assembled and used by leading executives, usually consist of 5 to 12 people. So, and may suggested na certain number of groups. Why 5 to 12? Normally, kailangan kasi sa council na as much as possible, yung lahat ng aspects ng business, yung mga members doon may alam. Parang may in-depth knowledge sila doon sa nag-run ng business. So, hindi siya necessarily kailangan na executive member, lahat lang ng nasa executive. Kasi in the first place, kung lahat nasa executive, then hindi nila alam kung anong nangyayari sa operations. They need to have someone from the operations din para nakapagbigay din siya ng insights doon sa other side or other, para nagko-complement sila lahat. So kung ang hindi alam ng marketing, alam ng operations, at least share ng knowledge. So each council member has the ability to argue, debate in search of understanding, not from egoistic need to win a point or protect a patriarchal interest. Ito yung sinasabi dito na normally sa council, as much as possible, bawal yung natatamaan ng ego.
Yes.
So, remember niyo yung sinasabi na to have a council, you need to have those people in the bus, the right people in the bus.
Yes.
So, etong kadalasan, sila yung nasa council, sila yung mga tao doon mismo sa bus or certain people doon sa bus wherein ang habol nila is yung greatness ng company, hindi yung pag nalaman na yung pinopose nila or yung dinebate nila argument is mali, ma-hurt sila na yung ego ko ang tatamaan. Pero if malaman niya na yung argument niya is hindi maganda kasi may mas magandang argument na ikaka-improve nung business, mas gugustuhin niya yun. Kasi yun yung parang, yun yung man lang yung reason kung bakit may council. It's for the company. Hindi man yun hindi yun para doon sa mga individuals. Kung may isang individual doon na gusto niyang siya yung idea niya yung mag-stand out, most probably isang level 4 leader ata yun. Gusto niya magmukha siyang genius or siya yung magpamukha na siya yung nagbuhat ng company or yung idea niya. So, each council member retains the respect of each other council members without exception. So, it takes up the idea doon sa brutal facts, but yung with faith to be great in the future. So, normally, you try to create an environment wherein when you have an idea and hindi siya maganda, hindi ka matatakot na mag-garner ka ng disrespect sa other members nung council. Kasi in the first place, paano kayo magbibigay ng idea kung lahat kayo takot na baka bastusin or i-disrespect? Or normally, baka ipahiya ng other council members. So, yun yung idea nung sa council. Open space siya or isa siyang group kung saan pwede kayo magbigay ng mga ideas or solutions ninyo or arguments doon sa issues na tinitake up ng council. Nag-iisip ng open council, nag-SCP tayo. Another thing is, council members come from a range of perspective, but each member has a deep knowledge of some aspect. So, deep knowledge about some aspect of the organization and or the environment in which it operates. So, like I said, hindi siya necessarily isang grupo lang. Say, ang council members is lahat nasa marketing. Hindi naman siya necessarily dapat lahat ng nasa marketing. Pwede silang mix personnel from marketing, from operations, from the executives, and kahit doon sa pinakaibaba yung nakakaalam talaga kung anong nangyayari. Kadalasan may tinatawag na union leaders. Kadalasan hindi naman sila necessarily dapat part ng executive or ng board. So the reason why it needs to be a mix of every profession doon sa grupo is so that lahat may insight sa kung paano talaga nag-ooperate yung business. For example, if a marketing member nagsabi siya na ito maganda tong gawin. Tapos, pwedeng ma-mention nung sa operations na oo nga, pero yung sa operations natin is ganito and makakapagbigay talaga siya ng insight doon sa marketing so that yung marketing pwede nyo ma-adjust yung argument niya or yung proposed solutions niya para hindi masagasaan or mas ma-improve pa yung niya. Kasi in the first place, yung reason why may council yung business is to make the business improve. Hindi yung isang idea lang yung or at least to come up with an idea na makakatulong sa business, yung overall greatness for the greater good. Next is, the council includes key members of management team but is not limited to the members of management team nor is every executive. So, normally, you need at least a executive member kasi para saan yung council ninyo kung wala man yun na power or mag-present ng idea nila doon sa board. Kasi in the first place, yung purpose ng council is to come up with ideas, with solutions na ipipresent doon sa board and then the board will get to decide kung pa-follow nila yun or not. Kasi actually, nandito din pala yun nakalagay is the council is a standing, not an ad hoc. The council does not seek consensus, recognizing that the consensus decisions are often at odds with the intelligent decisions. The responsibility for the final decision remains with the leading executive. So yeah, definitely, ang purpose ng council is to provide insights, to provide suggestions, and magbigay ng comments, suggestions, and
hindi sila
hindi
sila sa swag.
Hindi sila yung kung ano maging decision nila, yun agad ang
swag.
For the sake of our viewers,
Sige.
ano ang
Swag?
ibig sabihin ng swag?
Sige, so, scientific wild ass guess.
Yun.
Parang ganun yung lalo nila dito eh.
Although may mga ideas yung council, hindi sila pwedeng sila agad yung mag-act. Kailangan pa rin nila i-provide yung ideas na yun doon sa executives or sa board. Tapos yung board ang mag-decide kung okay yun or hindi. Kung i-go nila yun. Yeah. So, and para hindi siya masyadong magmukha na parang outside no, or parang yun lang yung purpose. Kadalasan yung council, nilalagay siya sa certain committees. No? May pinapangalanan sila. Yun na yung list ko din kanina like Long Range Profit Improvement Committee, and Corporate Product Committees, Strategic Thinking Group, or Executive Council. So, ganun.
Basically, yung chapter na to, kung i-recall natin is, nakabase siya sa 3 circles, di ba? Which is firstly, what you are deeply passionate about, and sunod is what you can be the best in the world at, and lastly is what drives your economic engine. So, any shortcoming with these 3 means that your hedgehog concept is definitely going to fail. Meaning, dapat meron tayo na itong tatlong to. Hindi pwedeng isa lang, hindi pwedeng dalawa lang. Dapat yung tatlo andun. Kasi kung wala yung tatlong yun, hindi yun pwede maging, or hindi yun pwede tawagin na hedgehog concept. And lastly, para makahanap agad tayo ng ating tinatawag na hedgehog concept, need natin na council kung saan ang purpose nila is magtanong lang ng magtanong guided by the 3 circles which is yung na-mention natin earlier. So yun lang yung job nila, which is pag-usapan yung 3 circles para mas madali natin mahanap as a company kung ano yung hedgehog concept natin. Kasi based din sa usapan natin last time na hindi siya instant. So it takes time to find out what your hedgehog concept really is. The sooner you start, the better. The more you talk with your council, the better. And the more frequent you do these things, the faster you will achieve your hedgehog concept.
Unexpected findings sa chapter na ito.
Good to great company.
Good to great companies are more like hedgehogs, simple, dowdy creatures that know one big thing and stick to it. The comparison companies, yung mga good companies, are more like foxes, crafty, cunning creatures that know many things yet lack consistency. So yun na yung lagi na sabi nung sa discussion na to, na kung gusto mo maging good to great company, isang aspect is pagiging parang hedgehog. So meron kang specialty or may one thing ka na special sa'yo na kahit ano man mangyari sa path mo sa business, ginagawa ninyo daily sa business ninyo, sakaling magka-problema, mag-roll up lang kayo at yung tactics nyo or yung napag-usapan nyo via the council and yung mga strategies nyo pa and yung tatlong circles, yun yung gagawin nyo palagi every time na move forward kayo. Next is, it took 4 years on average for the good to great companies to get a hedgehog concept. So ito yung isa sa mga unexpected talaga. Kasi kahit ako na nagbabasa ako, sabi ko, sige, parang,
Magagawa natin ito ng isang Sabado.
Tapos biglang 4 years nila nagawa. Pero i-take into consideration natin na lalo na matagal, yung iba sa kanila is matagal na nasa market. Diba?
And at the same time, yung cycle kasi in the first place, yung pag-come up ng right question, tapos pagbigay ng suggestion, pwedeng madali siya. It could take at least 1 or 2 weeks. Pero yung pag-implement nun sa business and then pag-autopsy, yun yung pwedeng tumagal talaga. So, pwedeng nakakamap kayo ng idea, say, i-try natin to sa business, baka nag-work yung blue na kulay ngayon sa
branding, ganun.
Oo, sa branding natin. So, i-try natin na blue ang kulay. Lahat ng brands natin blue. So, mag-change tayo. So, ang implementation nun is matagal.
Yes.
And yung pag-detect kung may impact talaga yun is also matagal din. So, hindi siya yung parang naisipan mo this Saturday, tapos i-implement mo by Monday, tapos nakakita ka agad ng risk. Kakita ka agad ng risk.
Kaya baga din sa libro, ang sabi is, iterative process yung pagkakaroon ka ng hedgehog concept. So, every time, i-roll mo yung ulit yung cycle na yun, para mapag-aralan mo ka talaga kung ano yung for you, kumbaga.
So, ano yung purpose nung dapat halos every week daw?
Yes, yung sa council. Ang purpose ng council is para mas mabilis yung ma-figure out kung ano yung hedgehog concept niyo.
So kung yung ang result medyo matagal ang returns, paano yung
Ang ibig sabihin nun, ang pag-uusapan na ng council is not the hedgehog concept itself, but the company happenings, kung align pa ba siya dun sa hedgehog concept.
I think kung weekly naman yung I think kung weekly, sigurado may results na yun. Ngayong week mag-meeting tayo, tapos next Monday, example is meeting ulit tayo. Sigurado naman na may may result na yun.
para may
So siguro sa na rin yun, sa council na mag-set sila ng goals na short term and then goals na long term.
Yes.
Ay, ako yung align.
Siguro ganun.
Okay, pwede.
Kaya yata nang sabi dito, inisip ko rin yun, sabi na 4 years tapos weekly, ilang weeks or 4 years.
Siguro yung mga small chunks.
On average.
Yung mga small chunks.
Yung mga madaling lang.
Okay,
magkaroon
para may
ng results.
results agad. Okay.
Third is strategy per se did not separate the good to great companies from the comparison companies.
Sige.
Both sets had strategies and there is no evidence that the good to great companies spent more time on strategic planning than the comparison companies. So yeah, yung strategy, although ito yung tinitingnan ko dating kumbaga yung pinaka-isa sa mga mag-teach sa'yo ay magtuturo sa'yo sa North Pole kung in a sense na sinasabi na kung may business ka, ayun mag-guide sa'yo pupunta sa North Pole yung strategy mo. Kahit ano man mangyari sa'yo sa path mo, may strategy ka for each. Yun yung ko dati. But then, ang nabasa ko tong chapter na to is, yun nga, kung lagi kang ganun na every time na may problema kayo and then parang may iba kang strategy, create ka naman ng strategy. Either ma-consume mo yung resources mo for that, hanggang sa maubos ka na lang in the long term. Or kaya, hindi ka maging fluid kumbaga dun sa sa issue na kinakaharap nyo. So, mas maganda talaga na sabihin natin may isang skill kayo na yun yung binax out mo.
Max out my difference.
Diba sa isang anime yun, yung alam niya lang gawin is yung isang skill, isang technique, tapos paulit-ulit niya na ginagawa.
Yung lightning.
Yeah, sa
Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Si Zenitsu. Diba, yun yung niya, isa lang yung tinuro sa kanya, sabi nung niya.
Isa lang yung nakuha niya.
Ito lang pag-aralan mo, at magiging great ka. Iyak siya ng iyak. Hindi mo parang ang lakas siya pag yun ng niya, di ba?
Parang hindi siya ang pinakamalakas doon sa move na yun.
Yeah. Na-max niya niya. So, kumbaga, yun yung advice dito sa chapter na ito na kung gusto niyo maging good to great company, hanap kayo ng isang via the three circles. Makapaghanap kayo ng hedgehog concept ninyo. Para, ito na kasi yung tama, di ba? Ito na yung breakthrough point.
Yes.
Pag nagkaroon kayo ng, pag nagkaroon kayo ng,
hedgehog.
Yeah. Hedgehog concept. Ito na yung breakthrough Kumbaga, ito na yung pataas na yung company ninyo. Kung magkaroon kayo ng hedgehog concept.
Actually, it doesn't necessarily mean na porket may strategy na kayo is yun na yung magdadala sa inyo sa ang i-mention dito is kasi nung kinumpare nila yung isang business dito na nag-implement ng hedgehog concept compared doon sa comparison companies, both naman talaga na businesses may strategies.
Yes, definitely.
Ang difference lang is yung strategy, paano nila na-come up. For example, yung sa Circuit City, na-come up nila yung strategy nila based doon sa understanding nila nung hedgehog concept nila. Whereas sa other comparison companies, yung strategy nila, na-come up nila just for the sake of
may solution
may solution sila, para may strategy sila. Hindi naman talaga nila na-understand yung definite, yung purpose talaga ng business nila or kung ano talaga yung strengths ng company nila or kung paano nila papatakbuhin yung business nila doon sa market. So, yun yung difference between having just a strategy and having a strategy based on understanding of your hedgehog concept.
So, yun guys, yung hedgehog concept. Nandito ako, guys! Nandito ako!
Sige na, close na.
Yun nga sinabi ni Mr. Rowan na hedgehog concept is not a goal talaga. It's not a strategy or intention. It's better way understanding. Kasi yun talaga yung nandito sa key points din
Yes.
ng book. Once na nakakame up ka ng hedgehog concept, kasi mostly yung ibang company, it takes years para malaman nila kung ano yung hedgehog concept.
Years.
So,
Years.
maswerte ka kung nalaman nyo na yung ano nyo, yung hedgehog concept.
Yeah.
Kasi yan yung
Start pa lang, ano?
start na ng ano nyo.
Start mo pala ng business, ano ka na?
Yung hedgehog concept.
Pinagpala.
Ayun na ano, ang hedgehog concept, hindi siya goal.
Hindi,
Yes.
hindi siya. Nandito siya.
It is the
Yung
understanding.
understanding ng business mo para makapag-come up ka ng strategies, goals, and other things.
It's beyond that.
Yes.
Hindi needed.
Ano, beyond that, pero nasa loob.
Nasa loob.
It's beyond. It's been inside you all along.
Sige, sige.
Kumbaga, the force. Human.
So, based dun sa napag-usapan natin, na yun nga, yung hedgehog concept mo is the start of the breakthrough. Pero the thing is, based din sa example natin, yung Hasbro, pag ang isang bagay na ginawa mo, hindi mo kinontinue,
Yeah.
definitely magdadaos-dos siya pababa, di ba? So, next na pag-uusapan natin is now, yung culture. What culture? Yung culture of discipline. So, bali, yun ang pag-uusapan natin sa next podcast. So, this is all for today. So, thank you guys for watching and we'll see you in the next podcast.